So I might be the last person to really speak on this topic, but I feel like it's become an annual topic, and I don't know, I think it got heightened this year for some reason with the NBA All-Star Game, NBA All-Star Weekend being a sham, being a joke, not being to what fans should expect from their All-Stars. So I really don't watch the NBA. I would personally watch college basketball over the NBA. That's me. Even during the regular season, because at least in the last few years, my Fighting Illini have gotten a little better. But of course, March Madness is like the best in playoffs overall. And maybe I watch the NBA playoffs when they're around just because it's, interesting. But for me, when they're all saying they scored too much, they were lollygagging around. They were doing all these like dumb little things. They were doing all these like dumb dunks, alley-oops, and they were just laughing about it. And they scored too many points. That was like Stephen A. Smith's big thing about nearly 400 points, and I guess this was actually a record of scoring more than 200 points in All-Star Game. I thought that had happened already. And the whole thing of there's no defense. And for me, again, from the outside, not someone who's invested really into the NBA, if you look to two things. One, to those fans who came out, even if you want to think to yourself, come on, go, that it was a sham and they didn't play real ball, but who showed up? The big stars. Joel Embiid was injured. There might have been one or two more injuries, but all the big names showed up for the most part. My parents went to the MLB All-Star Game in 2000 in Atlanta. They said no one was there. They said practically no one was there in terms of their stardom, their popularity, their high skills. That I don't remember the roster itself. I just remember that sticking out to me, that there was no incentive for them to go. And then they changed the MLB All-Star Game rules to the winning team gets home field advantage, so it gave something to play for. And they changed that after 2016. And it just kind of stuck with me that you have all these big stars that came out to the NBA All-Star Game. That's great. That's what you want. Who cares if they're going to just, if you want to say they're lollygagging around, that they're, I know it sounds kind of an old person term, that they're just, not taking it seriously. If you think about how an All-Star Game, this is also in the NHL, that there's no defense. I know the NFL Pro Bowl is also a mess, and that is also in similarity of there's no defense, there's no fouls, and there's always a clip of a Pro Bowl game where the referee's throwing a flag and he said on the mic, he's yes, even in Pro Bowl there's penalties. Because the All-Star Game, Pro Bowl, is meant to be exhibition. It's not meant. It doesn't count. Does it feature the best players? Yes. Does this? Other than the MLB All-Star Games before in the past, I believe from at least 2003 to 2016, having that incentive to the direct correlation to the season. Do any of the other All-Star games have any effect on the season? No. Even the in-season tournament this year that the NBA started doesn't really have an effect. It's just something fun, I guess, that they were doing. Different courts, of course, and they were dipping their feet into Las Vegas for expansion because they're late to that party. Because hockey did it first, and they did it the best. Now, if you think of athletes as employees, I didn't watch the All-Star game myself. I was at work, and then I had family over, so I didn't watch it all. But from the highlights, the players were smiling. They were laughing. Wouldn't a company, essentially want, their employees to be happy and able to laugh and, maybe not be so serious? I work in retail, and it'd be nice if I could, not, pressure myself to think, okay, I have to get someone on a Best Buy card. I have to get someone on a Best Buy membership. I have to attach. I have to do this. I have to. Sometimes it's stressful. Why isn't it a time? When isn't it a time that I can be okay to just smile about something and just laugh and just kind of be carefree about something? Why can't I just, I would love a time. I think anyone in retail would love a chance to just, be themselves with customers. Oh, you don't want that. That TV, that's a piece of shit. I mean, there's, of course, nicer ways that we say it, but, oh, yeah, if you get that, you're a dumbass. Oh, that TV, so many other people have returned it, and I laughed in all their faces when they came back, because I knew it was going to be a piece of shit for them. Why can't, the employees have, their fun? It's one game. And I know that there's, in the past, there was the sense of how important the All-Star game was. And I think for any sport that an All-Star game selection appearance is important to a resume. Especially for at least for an MVP race. Did you get selected? That's important. And especially for a Hall of Fame resume. Or when people want to say, were you a GOAT? Were you one of the greatest of all time? How many All-Star game appearances, Pro Bowls appearances do you have? I understand that that's important, so you would want to then maybe correlate the importance of that honor with importance to putting them together, but I don't know, it's just one game. It doesn't really mean anything in terms of for the NBA, it doesn't have any implication on who has the home court advantage. Brian Windhorst gave the dumbass idea of, on First Take or Get Up, I think both of them, he was parading himself around ESPN like usual, that you gotta give them incentive, you gotta give them money, to take it seriously. Maybe it's like, shut up. No, that's not the thing. That's not what it's about. I don't have the answer for it. Could there be an incentive like MLB did with whoever wins the All-Star game then gets the home field advantage, home court advantage for the finals? The World Series? I don't know. There was an idea of limiting the number of dunks that you do, or the number of 3-pointers, limiting the number of little things that they do that kind of I guess immature, maybe, and I guess it's maybe too serious that some of the athletes are responding to these statements about how there needs to be like fixing the All-Star game. Like LeBron James said that, and I really hope that he's just doing that to pander. This time, I think it's okay for the NBA players to pander, to say, yeah, the fans are right. The fans, they deserve better. They probably don't care. And I mean, from someone from the outside, again, maybe it's the wrong person to say this, but this is fine the way it is. I mean, someone compared like one of the 90s All-Star games, like the final score was like 111 to 110 or 101. It was close. And it wasn't as much scoring, so it was probably more defense. I get it, the 90s was a different basketball game than it is now. Get it. Especially part one on the defense, and part two on the threes that were taken. I mean, that's how you get the shrug. I mean, Jordan getting those I think it was 6 threes. But I mean, I think it was after the third one, he was like, oh. Like, those are so rare. And now it's like, yeah, Steph, I know you got 3 in a row. You got like 5 more to go. But like, you look at other games now, like especially this year, I've noticed like final scores on each team can get in the range of 130 to 150. I've seen. It's gotten bonkers. So maybe it's just a translation from the regular games to the exhibition games like this. So I don't know. Just wanted to put my 2 cents out there. That, like, compared to like the NHL, where they're also a no defense kind of idea of they don't want to get hurt. I mean, this game doesn't mean a whole lot to them otherwise, other than the honor. But in terms of like, for their actual team's outcome in the season, All-Star games means nothing. I mean, there are some times where players will opt out of the All-Star game to take a rest. So that's kind of another thing about how like you should be grateful, NBA All-Stars viewers, when they do show up. I think for any league, really, for an All-Star game, that they show up. I mean, I can understand that they don't want to take that risk to being injured, that, a fluke play, something just happens. I mean, if you look at the Super Bowl, number 57, Greenwald, on the 49ers, got injured just walking off the field. Or walking onto the field from the sidelines. That could have been in an All-Star game, a Pro Bowl. Like, anything could happen. So they want to be able to control that kind of, that risk in a way. Maybe sounding like I'm talking out of my ass here, but I'm trying to think out loud about this. But it's kind of generally agreed that, like the All-Star games, like, there's no defense because they don't want to get injured. They don't want to try too hard. I understand that. I'd rather them try harder to get into the postseason than to playing at a high standard in an All-Star game like it's Game 7. So, I mean, I feel like the MLB is a little different. I don't know why, though, because, like, that one, like, you do kind of have some defense. I mean, they're not, if the same, like, idea, applied from the NHL and NBA All-Star game to the MLB was, like, no defense. Like, pitchers just throwing cookies and donuts, right down the middle. Like, you would see so many more home runs. You would see all the scores being at least 6 apiece per team. Maybe 8. So, I guess if you want to be competitive for the NBA All-Star game, look at what what they've been doing with MLB. But, I mean, I was watching a little bit of the NHL All-Star game this past year on TV at break at work. Excuse me. And they were laughing. They're having fun. They're kind of like messing with each other. That's fun. That's kind of cool to see. Like, these big superstar athletes like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, like, oh, you poked me, and just kind of like joshing back and forth. Like in a real game, like they'd probably, throw gloves down. But in this game, it's like these guys are like the best, and they're just like joshing around like they're like school chums. That's kind of cool, at least for me. That's what I think. So I think for people getting really upset about the NBA All-Star Game, at least this weekend, I know that I lost a few brain cells watching First Take, listening to Stephen A. Smith. That I guess this has been going on since like 2017, 2018. That the NBA All-Star Game hasn't been the same since. And I even saw someone on Twitter say, "Well, they should take Kobe Bryant's name off the All-Star Game MVP trophy because he'd ball hard. He'd go different in the All-Star Game. Like, I'm sure he would. But not everyone is meant to be Mamba. Not everyone is meant to be Kobe level. Everyone wants to be at that Kobe level, but not everyone can be. So it's different. Just settle down. Jesus. Get your sphincters out of your hand. Unclench it. Relax. So, that's my 2 cents from a non-invested NBA fan, just, I guess, someone on the casual side. Chill. They're having fun. So should you. So, that's my little spiel. So, thanks for watching. It's not my normal hat video I talk about, but I talk about sports on the channel here. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. How you thought of the All-Star Game this weekend, or from the NBA All-Star Game in 2024, etc. So, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.